Next is our stereoisomers. So it is one of the most important part of that organic chemistry. Let us see. So in stereoisomerism, the first type is geometrical isomerism. It is also called cis trans isomerism because there are only two variations, that is cis and trans. Okay, so let us see when we take it for the same what we can say group, that is here is R group is taken or CH3 group is taken. So these two CH3 are present on the same side, so it is cis, and here this CH3 CH3 present on two different sides, so it is trans. Now this cis trans isomerism or geometrical isomerism is also shown by two different molecules, that is CH3 and Cl is present. So these are two present for the same side, that is we are taking it cis, and here as you can see this CH3 and Cl is present on two different side, so we are taking it as trans. Now stability of trans isomer will be greater than our cis isomer. So let us move on the next thing, that is our optical isomerism. So in optical isomerism, first is our enantiomer. So what is enantiomer? That is optical isomers having non-superimposable mirror image are said to be enantiomer. Okay, non-superimposable mirror image they have. When 1:1 molar ratio of enantiomer is mixed, then it forms the racemic mixture. Now, what is racemic mixture? Racemic mixture is a optically inactive mixture. So why this is optically inactive? Because the superimposable mirror image as optical isomers are present here. So racemic mixture is optically inactive due to external compensation. So here is a example is shown, that is, as you can see, these two are mirror images and they are moving on the same side 50 degree 50 degree. So it is optically inactive solution, that is called racemic mixture. Now diastereomers. Now there is some optical isomers who share non-mirror image relationship. They will be called diastereomers. Next is our mesocompounds. Mesocompounds, they are optically inactive due to internal compensation. Now why this is internal compensation? That is at least a plane of symmetry present in the mesocompound. So tartaric acid is shown. So as you can see, the tartaric acid has a plane of symmetry in it. So the upper side of the symmetry and the lower side of symmetry are like kind of mirror image. So that's how they form a optically inactive compound by internal composition, and it will be called our mesocompound. Next is R and S isomer. Now we are going to learn how to conclude it's a R isomer or S isomer. So we have to conclude it on the basis of electronegativity. Now let us see it. That is, as you can see, that the electronegativity of or N or nitrogen is greater than carbon, right? Because this is a periodic property. Now, as you can see, there are two N's are present. Now, how we are gonna see what will be what? So the most electronegative element will be marked as 1. Now, there are 2N, so we take the second molecule, that is here for NH2 the second molecule will be a hydrogen, and for NO2 it will be our oxygen. So oxygen has more electronegativity than hydrogen, so we take it 1, we take it 2. Now as you can see, there are also two carbons present. Now let us see for the next if we take the next molecule, so that will be O and O. So the next molecule is also same. So we go to the next molecule. Okay, there is a third molecule is also O for COOH, but here in case of CHO, third molecule is hydrogen. So normally oxygen has more electronegativity than hydrogen, so it is marked as 3. It is marked as what? 4. Now we have to decide the spin here. So it is a clockwise or anti-clockwise. So as you can see, we have to see that from where if we spin it, we can go to the respective numbers easily, most easily. So here, as you can see, if we spin it like this, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how we can easily reach the respective numbers. Because or if we spin it anti-clockwise, then what happens? It's 1, 2, 2 is reached, but as you can see, the 4 comes in between. So the 3 doesn't come. So we're gonna spin it clockwise. Okay. So we're spinning it clockwise because 1, 2, 3 is coming next. Okay. The respective number is achieved more easily. So if we can spin it clockwise and the fourth molecule is present like this, so then it will be called our R isomer. Okay. So next is, as you can see, that here we don't have to decide for the first here we don't have to decide the first one, because as you can see that only n is present here, so it will be 1. Now what will be the second, because three of them has or C or carbon. So as you can see, for the next molecule, this Cn has nitrogen, which will be greater than the 2 in electronegativity. So we'll take it as 2. Now how will we decide it on the CH3 and C2H5? That is, we write this C2H5 or imagine it like it, that is CH2CH3. That means the second molecule of this C2H5 will be carbon, and for CH3 it will be hydrogen. So that's how we can easily decide. So it will be 3, it will be 4. So see, this 4 is not present here like this, this is present here like this. Okay, so that's how it will go for a variation, but I am gonna tell it later. But let us first decide how it is gonna spin. That means 1, 2, 3, and if we spin it like clockwise, but if we spin it anti-clockwise, what will it get? Let us see. That is 1 after it is getting 3, so it will be dismissed at first. The anti-clockwise will not be moving here, but here if we just move it clockwise, so it will be 1, 2, and then 3, right? So it has to be R isomer because it is spinning on clockwise direction, but here 4 is present here. So please remember it carefully that if 4 is not present here but here or here, so then it won't be the R isomer, it will be the opposite, that is it will be our S isomer. Okay, so this is a R type and this is a S type. Now let us see for the third. That is, now we have to decide it for 2 carbons. Okay, on carbon is this, non-carbon is this. So let us see it for the first carbon here. That is, we can see that a halogen is present. So without thinking, we are just gonna mark it as 1 because halogen has the most electronegativity. So next is our nitrogen is present here. So we are gonna mark it as 2. Now what will be the 3 and 4? So as you can see that it is C2H5. So the second molecule is always C, so carbon. So if we take it for this carbon, the second molecule, we can see that it has 1 iodine. So obviously it will be 3 and it will be 4. Now we have to see that the 4 is present here. So I have told you that the 4 is present here or here, so there will be no variations. So it will be just what the normally the spin will come. So let us see. That is, if we go from here, so it will be 1, 2, 3. But if we go from anti-clockwise, but if we go clockwise, that means 1, then 3 comes, so it will be dismissed, right? So let us move it anti-clockwise. So here it will be S isomer. Now let us see for the this carbon. Okay, mark it like this so you don't confuse in the exam. So the first one will be this because iodine is present here, it's a halogen. Now for the next three carbons, so we are gonna see the next molecule. So next molecule is Br, so obviously it will be 2, and for this we have just concluded here, so it will be our 3, it will be our 4. Now as you can see, there is again 1 2 3, so it is also anti-clockwise, so it will also be an S. Next is our compounds of non-chiral carbon but optically active, because these are the special case. First is allenes. So alene structure is like this. Second is alkydines. So alkydines have structure like this. Next is pyrenes and is biphenyl. Just remember the 4 names only if you can remember the structure, because sometimes they ask you that only the names. Okay. Next is our conformational isomers. Now what is conformational isomer? This conformational isomer is due to the free rotation of the carbon-carbon sigma bond of alkanes. And these conformational isomers are also called rotamers. So let us see. There are two types of projections here. If we see the projection, we will understand what is this conformational isomer is all about. So there are two projections. One is Sawhouse projection, one is Newman projection. So in Sawhouse projection, as you can see, for ethane, that is CH3, around this bond, all the spinning is happening. So for the Sawhouse projection, you can see that it is done a 3D structure of CH3. So and spin is going according to this bond. So it is eclipse form, because as you can see, these two are identical in spin. Okay. So next is a staggered form. As you can see, why it is staggered, because uh, for the first carbon and for the second carbon, the those two are just present as opposite direction. So it will be called our staggered form. Now for Newman projection, what Newman did, try to see the molecule like this. Okay, so for our eye, it will be our front carbon, it will be our rear carbon, that means back side of the screen. So if we just draw the 3D structure, so it will be like this eclipse structure is for source projection. So you can see the Newman projection is kind of developed, more developed, right? So this will be our eclipsed form and this will be our staggered form. Now let us see what happens when we spin this sigma bond at different angles. So let us see it. For the first case, we will spin it on 60-degree direction. We are spinning this green colored CH3 and HH, not this red colored. So let us see. So if we spin it on 60-degree, then it will come like this, and here H will be go, and here H will go, right? So for the next case, again we are spinning it 60 degrees. So 60 degree plus 60 degree, total angle of rotation will be what? 120 degree. 120 degree. As you can see, the red CH3 and two hydrogens are same. We are spinning the green ones. So it will be like this, right? Now we are gonna rotate it another 60 degrees, so it will be our 120 degree, right? So let us see it. until the molecule will come. That is, it will be like this. The CH3 will come here and the 2H will go here and here. So it is our staggered form and it is our eclipsed form. Okay, it is our staggered form. Now, what are the other forms are called? They are called Gauche staggered form. Okay. Now let us see what will happen if we rotate it again 60 degree. That means 120 plus 60 to 40 degree. Okay. So then it will be looking like this here. Again it will be H. So from here, if we rotate it another 60 degree, that means it will be 300 degree. So it will give us this molecule. That is, CH3 will go here, H will come here, non-H will go here, right? So again, if we rotate it 60 degree, that means the total angle of rotation now is 360 degree. Then again the eclipse form will come, right? So that's how we do the rotation here, and all these are rotamers of one another. Now there is a exception that you can see that in the first two cases, that is in case of ethane and this organic compound. So for the stability order, what will be the most stable? If we write it like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here 6. So stability order will be 4 equal to 2 equal to 6 greater than 3 equal to 5 greater than 1. So the most stable form is our staggered form here, but there is an exception. That is, in case of this OH CH2 OH, here the Gauche staggered form is most stable, because as you can see, there is hydrogen bond is present. So that's why its Gauche staggered form is most stable. So here our isomerism is done.